Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you came in? Not in a funny or harmless way, but in a way that feels heavier, like something in you has shifted. Maybe it's the way your mornings have changed, the silence that now lingers where laughter used to be. Or maybe it's a feeling deep down that you can't quite explain, a quiet knowing that something in your body or your heart just isn't the same. Moments like these can sneak up on us. One day you're making breakfast. The next you realize you haven't called your friends in weeks. Not because you don't care, but because the energy isn't there. It's easy to brush off, to say it's just aging, just a slow day. But deep down you might feel it, that something is pulling back, softly, slowly. Many people believe that the final stages of life arrive suddenly, like a storm out of nowhere. But in truth, the body often begins to whisper long before it stops. These whispers aren't loud. They come in the form of changes so subtle they're easy to miss. A lost appetite, a forgotten hobby, a nap that turns into hours. But when we look closely, they tell a story of a body preparing for rest, a soul beginning to let go. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 early signs that often appear in the final year of life. Not to bring fear, but to bring clarity. Because when you understand what's happening, you don't have to feel helpless. You can make decisions with calm, offer support with grace, and most of all, make the time you have left with your loved one more meaningful than ever. If you stay with me until the end of this video, I promise it will help you see these signs in a new light. Please consider liking this video. And if you haven't already subscribed to the Longevity Secret channel, that way you'll never miss gentle guidance like this when you need it most. Let's take this journey together and begin by looking at one of the quietest but most powerful changes that often signals what's to come. Loss of emotional spark or purpose. There's a kind of silence that can settle into a person's life. Not the peaceful kind, but the kind that feels like something has gone missing. For many older adults, one of the earliest changes that signals a deeper shift in health is a fading sense of joy. Not necessarily sadness, but a quiet detachment from the things that once brought meaning. Take Eleanor, she's 78, a retired school teacher in a small town in Missouri. For most of her life, Eleanor was the heartbeat of her neighborhood. She baked pies for community events, kept a garden full of wildflowers, led her church's book club for nearly 20 years. But over the past several months, her daughter noticed the garden had become overgrown. The book club chair sat empty. When asked about it, Eleanor would just smile faintly and say, "I guess I just haven't felt like it." No complaints. No obvious illness, just a less. This kind of emotional withdrawal can be easy to miss. Families might assume it's boredom, or assume she's just resting after years of activity, but often it's more than that. The body and the mind begin to turn inward. As energy wanes, the desire to connect, create, or even speak can gently fade. It's the beginning of the body's way of conserving what little strength remains. It's important not to confuse this with depression. There's a difference between sadness and surrender. This soft pulling away is often not emotional distress. It's physiological. It's the nervous system and brain-reducing stimulation, easing a person into rest. For caregivers and loved ones, this change can feel unsettling. You may find yourself trying to reignite their interest, suggesting new hobbies, planning outings, hoping to bring them back to how they used to be. But often the most helpful thing isn't to push, it's to sit with them, listen, be present without expectation. Even when words fade, presence still matters. That quiet cup of tea, that slow walk down the driveway. These small moments become sacred. Because the truth is, as the emotional spark begins to dim, what matters most is not activity. It's feeling loved, feeling safe, and knowing someone is there to walk alongside even if the pace has slowed. Decreased interest in eating and drinking. It usually starts small. A few skipped meals, a bowl of soup left half-eaten, a favorite snack that now sits untouched. And when asked about it, the answer is almost always the same. I'm just not that hungry. Or, food doesn't taste right anymore. For many older adults, this quiet change in appetite can be one of the earliest and most telling signs that the body is slowing down. As we age, it's normal for taste and smell to fade a bit, but when someone who used to enjoy their meals begins to push food away, it can mean more than just pickiness. The body in its wisdom may be signaling that it no longer needs the same amount of fuel, that digestion is becoming slower, that it's entering a gentler phase of preservation rather than growth. Medical research supports this. A study from Harvard Medical School found that more than 70% of seniors in their final year of life naturally reduce their food intake. It's not because they're giving up, it's because the hunger signals from the brain become quieter. The body no longer focused on repair or building muscle simply stops asking for more. But this shift can be difficult for families to accept. Meals are emotional. We show love through food. We worry when a loved one doesn't eat. We offer favorite dishes, smoothies, supplements. And when they're still not hungry, we wonder if we're failing them. The truth is, forcing food rarely helps. What matters more is offering small, easy-to-swallow meals, keeping hydration a priority, and most importantly, creating a peaceful atmosphere around eating. No pressure, just comfort. It's also helpful to remember that appetite is deeply tied to energy. When someone has less energy to move, they often have less need for food. The goal shifts from nutrition to nurturing, from counting calories to creating connection. Sometimes a few sips of warm broth shared over quiet conversation provide more nourishment than a full plate ever could. This is not about giving up. It's about tuning in, listening to what the body is saying, and respecting the pace it's now moving at. Because when we meet our loved ones where they are instead of where we wish they were, we create space for peace to enter the room. Longer recovery time from small injuries or illnesses. It used to be simple. A bump on the arm would fade in days. A scratch from gardening healed without a second thought. But now the bruises seem to linger. Cuts take their time. And even a mild cold can stretch into weeks of low energy and lingering coughs. For many seniors, this slower recovery is more than just frustrating. It's a sign that the body's internal systems are winding down. Walter is 82 and lives just outside Pittsburgh. For most of his life, he worked with his hands, fixing engines, rebuilding lawnmowers, keeping his home running with quiet pride. Last winter, he slipped in his kitchen and landed on his hip. No bones were broken, just a heavy bruise. But that bruise took nearly 6 weeks to fade. During that time, he felt weaker, tired, less steady on his feet, and soon after, a simple cold kept him in bed for nearly 2 weeks. His daughter Amy said something felt different, like his body just didn't bounce back the way it always had. That's because it wasn't just aging, it was the body's immune system slowing down. As we near the final stages of life, circulation begins to weaken. Blood moves more slowly. White blood cells, which once rushed to heal a wound or fight off infection, become less responsive. The body's no longer focused on rapid recovery, it's focused on rest. This change can be hard to witness. Families may feel a rising urgency. We need to treat this, get antibiotics, try a new cream, and in some cases that's appropriate, but in many others the body isn't resisting treatment. It's simply responding more slowly. Because healing now takes more than medicine. It takes time, it takes patience, and it takes a shift in how we define recovery. Even doctors agree. Many specialists note that in a person's final year, healing becomes less about fixing and more about comforting. A clean wound, gentle skin care, a warm blanket. These are no longer small gestures. They become essential. The lesson here is to stop measuring progress in days or percentages. Instead, focus on comfort, on listening, on giving space for the body to do what it can while offering peace where it cannot. When we let go of the timeline and hold on to compassion, we begin to support our loved ones in a way that truly matters. A noticeable shift in breathing patterns or speech. Sometimes it starts with a whisper. Literally, a voice that once filled the room now barely rises above a hush. Or maybe it's the breath. You notice it one evening while they're reading aloud, pausing mid-sentence, taking longer inhales, needing to catch their breath after standing up. These quiet changes in how someone breathes or speaks can be early signs that their body is undergoing a deeper transformation. Breathing is something we rarely notice until it changes. But as we age, and especially in the final year of life, lung function naturally begins to decline. The muscles involved in breathing weaken. The heart doesn't pump oxygen as efficiently. And suddenly tasks that once seemed effortless start to require real effort. You might notice them sighing more often, or breathing through their mouth, or taking shallow breaths without even realizing it. At first it may seem subtle, but over time the rhythm changes. There may be longer pauses between breaths, or sudden rapid inhales followed by long silences. What you're seeing is the body adjusting, slowing, converting effort into ease wherever possible. Speech changes too, because when it becomes harder to breathe, it also becomes harder to speak for long stretches. Some people start speaking less, others sound quieter or more breathy. It's not always a sign of distress. In many cases, it's simply the body conserving energy. For families, this can be alarming. You may worry they're hiding something, or not telling you when they're struggling, but often they're not hiding at all. They're adapting, doing the best they can with the strength they have left. It's helpful to adjust with them. Avoid asking too many questions in a row. Give them time to reply. Let silence be part of the conversation. You can also help by making their environment more comfortable. Keep the room cool. Offer extra pillows. Use a humidifier if the air feels dry. And most importantly, stay close. Let your presence be felt even if few words are exchanged. Because in these quiet changes, these soft pauses, there is still a chance to connect, a chance to show love, a chance to say, I see you, I'm here, you're not alone. Detachment from time, conversations, and surroundings. There's a particular kind of quiet that begins to settle in during the later stages of life. Not the stillness of a peaceful nap, but the kind that slowly creates distance. A loved one who used to chime in with stories or laughter now sits silently through conversations. They seem present, but somehow far away. You call their name and they look up, but it takes a moment longer, as if their mind had wandered somewhere deep inside. This subtle drifting is one of the most profound emotional changes many families witness. It may begin with missed details, repeating the same story, losing track of the date, but over time it can grow into long periods of silence, a lack of interest in what's going on around them. Even favorite shows or beloved family visits no longer spark the same light in their eyes. For some, this withdrawal looks like confusion, but often it's not confusion at all. It's the body and mind entering a quieter space, a space that doesn't demand answers or conversation, where time begins to blur and the outside world becomes less urgent. Gloria, a 76-year-old widow in Sacramento, had always been active in her church. Her grandkids called her their sunshine grandma because she always had a smile and a story ready. But over the past several months, something changed. She began spending hours in her recliner by the window. Not sad, just distant. Her daughter would visit and find her still wearing her robe at noon. When asked how her morning went, Gloria would smile softly and say, I was just thinking, but couldn't say about what. It's moments like these that leave families unsure. Is it boredom? Is she lonely? Does she want company or space? The truth is, she may not know either. What Gloria was experiencing wasn't something wrong. It was something natural, a soft retreat inward, a gentle letting go of the busy world outside. Neurologists often describe this phase as a kind of mental fatigue. The brain, like the rest of the body, begins to conserve energy. It filters out extra noise, extra stimulation. Conversations take effort. Crowds feel overwhelming. And even the sound of the TV might feel like too much. But what never fades is the ability to feel love, even in silence, even when recognition slips away. A familiar hand, a favorite song, a soft blanket. These things speak louder than words. For caregivers, this stage can be one of the most emotional. It feels like you're losing someone before they're really gone, like the connection is slipping through your fingers, but your presence still matters. Your gentleness still reaches them, even if they can't say it back. So sit with them. Read aloud even if they don't respond. Play music they once loved. Hold their hand and let the silence be okay. Because even when words fade, your love stays. And sometimes in that stillness, something deeper is being shared. Something sacred. Something real. If there's one thing I hope you carry with you after watching this video, it's this. The changes we talked about today are not signs of weakness. They are signs of a body that has carried a long, meaningful life. A body that has given love, worked hard, endured trials, and is now asking for gentleness. Aging is not about losing who we are. It's about arriving at a place where we begin to see life differently, where little moments matter more, where quiet has more meaning, and where presence becomes the most powerful gift we can offer. The truth is, we don't always get to choose what changes, but we do get to choose how we show up for ourselves and for those we love. We get to choose compassion over fear, patience over pressure, and love over control. It's never too late to slow down and listen, to offer a warm blanket, a soft word, a quiet hand held at just the right time. These are not small things. They are everything. If one message stays with you, let it be this. Even when words fade, even when energy fades, love remains. And how we show up in these final chapters can bring peace that lasts for generations. If this video spoke to you in any way, I'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and share what touched your heart, or let us know how you're supporting someone you love right now. Your words may bring comfort to someone else who needs it too. And if you haven't yet, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to the Longevity Secret channel. We're here to walk beside you through every stage of this journey. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Take care of yourself. Be gentle with those around you. And remember, you are not alone. I'll see you in the next video.